Hi everyone, I'm Mahesh Krishnan and welcome to my channel Mahesh4World. So this is my first ever podcast and I'm starting this venture with the aim of making public policy more accessible to the general public. So in today's episode we'll be discussing about AI and it's the transformation it is bringing in the future of work. So this would be a socio-political analysis and we are joined by two amazing guests who has a lot of insights to share on this topic. So joining with us today are two exceptional people, two insightful minds. We have with us Advocate Varun Menon. He's a law graduate from the Symbiosis Law School, Pune, and is also a UPSC aspirant. And we have with us Sathyajith. He's a political consultant, a modern Chanakya, and he's an alumnus of the National Law School of India University with a master's in public policy. So let's start with the most pressing issue right now. The one issue that is causing the maximum amount of panic, which are the layoffs and the lack of jobs in entry level positions. So recently we had a conversation on this. You have been doing some research on it. So what are your initial thoughts on this phenomenon?
So I would say that I've been doing a bit of reading on the impact of AI on the future of work, and then I was reading this very interesting report by the World Economic Forum, which mentioned that around companies were considering to cut around 30 to 40% of entry level jobs and replace that with AI. Now that is going to have a lot of consequences, not just for like the youth who are searching for employment, but also for companies. So I found that very interesting. I think you might have something to add to that,
Yes, so
especially because you're working with LinkedIn on the AI aspect of that.
yes. So with I'm part of the Evaluate Global Mentorship Program, and I my capstone project is on evaluating youth user experiences of LinkedIn AI's AI features. So in my finding, what is happening is right now is like in 2023 alone, entry level jobs have plummeted by 35%. At the same time, the job applications have increased by 45%. So there is this mismatch of like demand and supply, and the reason why the number of jobs are increasing is because AI has made it easier to prepare a CV or a cover letter.
Even I read about it because I was reading on the students going abroad and learning in Canada, and lot of the AI related like the application were it was outrightly rejected.
Exactly. And in my own, conversations with a lot of hiring managers, what I did find is that a lot of these hiring managers, they have stopped looking at applications and they would prefer to hire from their internal network circle. So now, soft skills are becoming more important because several studies point out that soft skills like AI is not able to replace soft skills and soft skills are gaining more prominence. But also another important aspect of it is that if you have very good soft skills, you'll be good at networking, and a lot of hiring managers are hiring from within the network circle, right? So I think the youth should focus more on developing soft skills in the new age. And like you have pointed right now, what is happening is that in the future there is going to be a bottleneck situation where like we have a lack of entry level employees. So by the time, like let's say in 3 or 5 years, when they are supposed to be in middle level managerial positions, there will be a lack of people with the adequate experience. So that is one thing that I could point out.
Actually, I wanted to add on to that because I was reading an article from Harvard Business Review which discussed the danger of automating away entry level jobs. Now, the first concern which they mentioned is obviously the lack of a pipeline for talent to move from entry level to middle level. So you would have a situation where you have middle level managers who don't know what work they're supposed to manage. Now, the second concern is that a lot of understanding for innovation, right? And innovative practices emerge from working at these entry level jobs. So if you don't have humans working those entry level jobs, you are closing out. You're basically shutting the door on the possibility of finding innovations that will give you a competitive advantage in the modern marketplace.
Also, I think AI will add prompt engineering related jobs, because recent Niti Aayog report was saying at least 40% job increase is possibility. So it was basically like, AI is a tool for increasing human productivity, but it's a complex question whether it does increase our productivity or not.
Exactly.
So what do you guys think about, does AI affect our cognitive abilities, the thing that makes us so special? What do you think, Satya?
So I would actually, that's a very complicated question to answer. And I'll break it down to two things. One, the impact of AI on cognition, which is a very interesting topic. Okay? And two, the impact on the question of whether AI actually increases value. So there was another article by Stanford researchers in the Harvard Business Review,
Okay.
which mentioned that around 40% of the work which was produced by the people surveyed by in that study was actually what was low effort AI generated content, which is what people call AI slop.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And now it's basically vanilla content, and a lot of fluff stuffed into like words, and it's very low effort. But like it doesn't keep in mind the context. It doesn't keep in mind the outcomes. It doesn't keep in mind the objective. It's basically, it looks good, but it's useless.
Yeah.
And this basically harms productivity for firms, right?
Because
like just imagine 40% is a lot of money.
Correction managers will have to do double duty to correct those, what you said, the jobs they are doing, because they have to recheck
exactly.
it. So it is actually what it's harming the productivity in that sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would like to contradict that. I wouldn't say that it is harming the productivity, but maybe the role of humans are turning more into that of a review. For instance, I have recently done some research, and a part of that research involves collecting data on different villages in a particular area. So while I was doing that, I was using ChatGPT to sort things out, because the list is too extensive. And so while I was reviewing it, I found out that AI has created new villages. So this AI hallucination is a big issue.
But do you think it's a problem, because there are a school of school of thought where people think like the traditional way, where you go interact with people, collect data and read the people, or AI is making it too much into the quantity, like quantifying the data. So do you think it's a problem? Like suppose, for example, let's take it to the psephological side or something like that. People solely relying on data, because you both are political analysts, you can think about that.
So this is an area which I have been working on, and this is a very relevant question as well, because see, in my understanding, okay, I have a background in actuarial science, and then I went to public policy. I do deal with a lot of maths, and like in my understanding, everything about human beings, human societies, it's sort of algorithmic. So I would say that more AI would lead to more algorithmic republics.
Okay. Oh, that's a
All right.
That's a good.
I would actually, I kind of agree with you, but I also have to add some girders to that agreement.
Okay.
The point is, yes. See, the thing is, we've always been conducting quantitative research, right? You have opinion polling from the 1950s, starting in the US. And then now we have, and earlier it was like you had mail-in ballots. Then it became like phone calls. People call you and ask you like, what's your opinion? Who are you going to vote for? And then now it's become like online forms which we fill out. So there is quantitative stuff which has been going on, and has been going on, and AI will just add on to that. But the human aspect or the qualitative angle of things, that is also very important. Because the thing is, human beings have agency, right? When I fill out a form, or when I give an interview to a structured interview, I can always lie to the person. So it is so there's always room for qualitative on-ground field work in this space.
So I would like to add here, like you highlighted the importance of qualitative research, right? So the thing is, the fact is that we have limited knowledge on certain sectors of we have limited knowledge about certain things, like for example psychology. It's not a complete, like we don't have complete understanding of it, right? So, and same is with semiotics, something which I have been working on. But once we have a complete knowledge, and I think it is very easy to make it algorithmic, or but until we have the complete knowledge, it is going to be tough.
May I just interrupt you for a bit? Can
Yeah.
you just explain to our viewers what semiotics is, because
Okay.
it's something that everybody is not very aware of.
Correct. So semiotics is the study of science. So I would explain it with a simple example. So look, if we look at President Donald Trump's campaign, the 2025, right? 2024. So if we look at US President Donald Trump's 2024 election campaign, one of the most important sign or symbol which was part of that campaign was the one where he got shot and he kept his hand like this, right? So if we look at that particular image, what is the message we get? What is a non-verbal message we get, or the insight which we get? So that one photograph or that one image, right? It communicates a lot of things. It communicates like willpower, communicates courage, and so that resonates with people, right? So semiotic analysis, when it comes to political strategy, would would analyze different signs and symbols that are part of the narrative, rather than looking at what people say. So that is semiotics. And when I talk about algorithmic, like bringing algorithms into semiotics, it is more like looking at sentiment analysis, user data, social media discourse analysis, and creating formulas such that we know what symbol is needed at a time. So the limitation with this particular research is that it is very difficult for humans to grasp a lot of that knowledge. But with AI, it's becoming very easy, because AI can do analysis of like social media discourse analysis in a matter of seconds or a matter of minutes, and so it is very easy.
But Mahesh, the problem is, how can we replace the original thinking side? We are speaking about layoffs here. We are speaking how much job, but I think template jobs you can replace. But what about, do you trust a surgeon who is experienced, or will you trust an AI? Because after all, human to human connection is what makes our civilization habitable, right?
Yeah. So this is another thing that I'd like to point out. I recently applied for a job, and in that job, the application that job was developing AI tools for political research, and so the application question was like. They would ask a question to analyze a certain election, and they would we are supposed to input an answer that we would expect from an AI to produce, like a perfect answer, like without grammar mistakes or anything. What would be the perfect answer? So that is AI. That's how AI is being developed. They are trying to mimic human intelligence, like they are trying to mimic our thought patterns.
The problem with that is, see, one of the things which I have found very problematic with AI output, right? Like, yes, it's useful when you have a lot of information to process, but again, we go back to the cognitive impacts of it. Because I remember a time when I was able to, personally, I'm talking from my personal experience, and if any of the viewers are here who knew me like when before the age of AI, my ability to recall like arguments from people and all was much higher, and I'm pretty sure that is the case for a lot of people, right? So you have the cognitive impact which we cannot include. And the second aspect is the impact of that on writing, like, because see, I deal with a lot of writing in my work, and I do read, so I do value writing. What has happened is you have this vanilla flavor for the output of AI. It's like a mix and match of many styles, but you can literally understand whether the content is AI generated or not, and that has consequences for for anybody who's interested in writing, right? And
I think modern research and the frameworks are filtering out this AI, like plagiarism mechanism. But the big problem of copyright brings a question to the potential writers, because we need original writers, original journalists who do the work in the ground, take the data and produce original research. But through AI, if you are somehow plagiarizing and taking away their data, then the demand for their job is affected.
Exactly. Not only that, if we talk about one of the biggest issues with regards to copyright is actually with regards to art. if you remember the
Ghibli art,
Ghibli phenomenon.
Yeah.
So Ghibli is just to give some context to the listeners. Ghibli studio is famous for its animation. Like it was one of their most famous directors and founders is Hayao Miyazaki. He's known for a lot of these and I emphasize this term, hand-drawn animation. So what has happened is, I think maybe how many months back that was that, like 1 year back, nearly, around that time.
Yeah.
You had people like put in making Ghibli photos
Ghibli
of
after Ghibli,
images of themselves in it, and that actually militates against the whole idea of what Miyazaki intended. Because Miyazaki, in my understanding, and I watched a few of his movies, has always tried to like carve out a space for hand-drawn, unique art, and the whole idea of Ghiblification militates against that, and it's a huge copyright violation.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would like to add something about this whole art sector and how AI is disrupting it. So I wouldn't say AI is so when we look at art, we've had different ages of how art evolved, right? So if we look at the earliest time periods, the maximum value for an art is dependent on how well you are able to draw, like how realistic you are able to capture. Like for example, your portrait. If I'm able to realistically draw that is more valued. But when the age of photographs started, the value of that reduced, and then we shifted to what
postmodern art.
Postmodern, like abstract art and things like that.
That's a brilliant viewpoint.
So now what is happening is, we are again going through another transformation where art styles are not valued, but the kind of value you bring to art is valued. For example, I am a policy professional or I am a political consultant, and based on my lived experiences, I am generating an art and I'm telling a story through that art. All right. So when I add that meaning to that art, then that art is valued. So we are moving more towards that kind of a age for art. And regarding plagiarism and applications, so I observed that a lot of job applications, they have their own unique strategies to make sure that people so one example is my recently I received the FIME small awards.
Great.
So while I was applying for that,
I think you should explain what for the audience.
Yes, so I did.
Apparently you are one person from Asia to get it, no? Like
no. There are two people, but I am one of the, like, only 6 people were selected out of 258 applicants. So what I was saying is that while applying for this particular role, they normally, like, I was supposed to submit a research proposal. So normally when we submit a research proposal, conventionally they would ask for a longer research proposal. But now they have asked to make it so short, like it is almost impossible to do it with AI. Like we have to apply a
they are AI proofing it.
Yeah, so I think this is not just for FIME small awards. I have seen this same trend in multiple. We have the UN 2.0. So they have also posted several jobs, and those applications also has got the same kind of pattern. They are looking at very crisp, very short, maximum brevity is maintained sort of.
I think Mahesh, we have discussed about the corporate art, but one more dimension which I can share with you guys, because I have been preparing for this government exams, and you know how much, like, the quantity of people who in India who appear for the exam. But the problem I face here, the pattern of ICS, if you take it from 1950 or 2014, the recent syllabus change, it has been the same. But technology has differed. Like people before, the aspirant people used to refer big books. Then it came to internet, then they have concisos. But now we have AI to generate good answers. But how can government tackle this? Because the key point of this examination is to gain legitimacy, right? Because everyone needs to have a fair chance to get into the government service. But this AI inclusivity, because I may have access to ChatGPT plus, but someone from a rural place with zero connectivity, how can a government balance this out through or are these examinations redundant now? What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's a fair point. So how do you go, like, for your preparation for the exam UPSC? How much of AI do you use?
Actually, we were talking about this, right? So there are a lot of ChatGPT helps, but the problem with ChatGPT is sometimes the sources, it can contradict itself.
Yeah, like AI hallucination.
Exactly. So no proper sources, or if you again ask us, isn't it correct? They will say, yeah, you have made the point, it's right. So that's it. So, but there are other, like the notebook LM of Google, which I found really amazing. And if someone is preparing for civil services or any other exam, basically it's a research assistant, and you can provide the source.
Okay.
To make the content. So you have authenticated source, but it helps you learn better. So that way it's important. But the problem is, essentially, I can't bring my AI, my laptop into an examination hall.
True.
If they ask a question about what's the difference between like the pardon power of President of US and President of India, I have to think at the spot. So that's again a complicated question to answer, because right now we are in the phase of AI turn.
Yes.
We have not reached that extreme or this extreme. Yeah.
We are in that transition phase.
Exactly.
And also, I think there's a trade-off between understanding and retention, is there?
Yeah,
With
because
regards to the use of AI. Yeah.
the amount of effort you put in to understand a complicated stuff, the AI simplifies it, but you will forget it that easily, because if you put more effort into it, you try reading, and there is also this thing, when you read a book, you are also getting many ancillary knowledge related to it.
Yes, true.
And that have paid into many inventions. Like serendipity invention, because they have read something from somewhere that but right now we are very target oriented. We are just focusing on the answer I want. It reduces our creativity. So that's what I feel.
I would not say creative, I would say wholeness or
Exactly,
wholeness in some ways. I would not know how to describe it a better way, but in a wholeness.
Yeah.
Because as you said, we get a lot of knowledge like while getting to the goal. The journey is like, in fact, like giving you a lot of knowledge, right?
Exactly.
So it's not just the destination, but the journey as well.
Exactly,
And when you cut short the journey, your knowledge accumulation also reduces.
That's and I think the government, what I feel is like the examiner also evolves, right? He's also understanding the pattern. For example, I want you guys to look up, before we had calculators. Now, certain engineering exams, they allow calculators, but the level of questions can't be the same.
Yes, of course.
So, what do you guys think about that? Should the examination change because there is AI now? Or should we add something, the difficulties of questions should rise? What do you guys feel?
I mean, there is definitely like scope for updating the technology, but there's also a need to take a relook at the structure of the examination system.
Yeah, but that's a whole another discussion, right?
I mean, of course. I'm just saying that, yes, there is a need to take a look at it.
Okay. Yeah.
But when you take a look at a system, it's better like this. The technology of examination, that's one element. But if you want to like optimize it, you have to take a look at the whole system.
Exactly.
But definitely, like there is need,
because a lot of things is dependent on this exam, because a lot of aspirants are there.
Yeah, but and I think that like we mentioned earlier, we are in a transition phase, right? So like we don't have enough data or like understanding.
I think this is the right time. If someone is preparing for UPSC, use AI properly.
Yeah, exactly.
After 2-3 years, maybe government will evolve and they'll make it really difficult.
Yeah. I mean, yes, these transition phases, this transformation phases in human society, it has happened throughout history.
Exactly.
The smartest people, they make the best use of it. They understand how the transformation is happening. They see the opportunity.
I think basically that's what I think from all of us, your opinions, what I can derive is basically you can't replace human, but we have to face the reality that AI is there to stay.
Yes, of course.
So it's how you balance thing out. What do you think? It's like, how do you balance AI and how do you so that best is reached, best of like both the human side and the AI side both. What do you guys feel?
Yes, in some ways. See, in that HBR article where we talked about work slop, there's actually they actually studied two ways of working with AI. One is working with AI as a driver, or pilot, and the second is working with AI as a passenger. So drivers are the drivers. It's basically a working style.
Yes.
So pilots are the ones who find innovative ways to like optimize their work. But passengers make AI, they're basically allowing AI to do the thinking for them. So if you are going to use AI, and you should use AI because AI improves our productivity greatly, be a pilot rather than a passenger.
That's a
I think that is a
brilliant observation what you have made, because that really makes sense, because ultimately it's the amount of effort you put in. It can't be you can't substitute, you can't be lazy because you have AI right now. The amount of effort you put in to do the work. Like there's this famous movie, right? Series, Family Man, and
yes.
don't be bare minimum guy.
Yeah,
so you can't
exactly.
be bare minimum guy now with AI.
Correct. So when you do mention about this being a pilot and being a passenger, it reminds me of another important issue, that is the changing attitudes of the Gen Z. So the Gen Z, they don't have any memory of an age without all the digital equipments, and there is a lot of trends going on in how in their preferences of work. There's an increasing preference for remote job. There's an increasing a phenomenon called quiet quitting, where they would like do the bare minimum at work and try to silently do the work. So what are your thoughts on it?
So, firstly, the thing is this concern, this sentiment that the younger generation don't work, or they're lazy, or they're not as good as the older generation.
Yeah,
it's a statement which is been said by older people throughout history. Like you have, I think, Plato and Hesiod. No, it's Socrates and Hesiod. They keep on talking about how the second generation is bad. So, like, rather than, I mean, yes, that sentiment we'll just hold aside for now. We'll just talk about the phenomenon which Mahesh rightly pointed out, the phenomenon of quiet quitting. Now, quiet quitting is basically people showing up to work, doing the bare minimum, and leaving. Essentially, that's what it is. Now, the point is a lot of framing around the discussion. It talks as if it's a new phenomenon that emerged just with the with Gen Z or Gen X or whoever. But the point is, this has actually existed even in the past. If you look at Frederick Taylor, the founder of scientific management, one of the things he found out was that in the factories where he was doing his time and motion studies, there were lots of employees who were productive, who are very capable of doing work, but who chose to keep the pace of the other employees, which he called soldiering. So this phenomenon is what we call quiet quitting now in some ways. I'm not saying they're totally adjacent, but you see patterns. And why were people soldiering? People were soldiering because they didn't have the incentive to work. And the phenomenon of quiet quitting has also been to be analyzed in the same light, because there was another interesting study on quiet quitting, which described that the amount of control an employee had over their work was negatively correlated to their probability of quitting. That is, the more control you have over your work, the less likely you are to quiet quit. And that's quite intuitive, right?
So Mahesh, you are asking about this generation shift and all. So what I want to bring the attention of you guys is the intergenerational equity, because the AI is extremely harmful for the climate, right? For the environment. Because you might have read, like we were discussing about the Ghibli art, and because of lot of people were putting this Ghibli prompts into the chat GPT, their software got shut down or something like that, because the supercomputers were superheated. So what do you guys think about this, the impact of AI on future generation, and what do you think?
Yes, so this is something I recently read in an article. The most important or the most crucial impact of AI is water, and it consumes a lot of water. The AI infrastructure needs a lot of water to dissipate the heat. So that is a growing problem. And I have a genuine doubt. I mean, you could share your insights. Like if heat was the issue, why can't they have all this AI infrastructure in, let's say, Norway or like Greenland, where it's already cold? Maybe they can get some water from the Arctic Sea.
But the thing is, another point this is important question, because the whole AI is like it's hegemony of some countries, if you can think about like that, because most of the AI is situated in Silicon Valley because of the processors, because of everything. You can't shift this entire infrastructure to Norway, for that matter, in some Scandinavian countries, and I think that's a problem. And yeah, so what do you guys think?
I definitely think that's a serious issue, because the whole yes, I understand the whole idea of autarkism and self-reliance. Need not it's not something which is very popular right now, but there is some utility to consider like self-reliance or atmanirbharta in AI at minimum. Because
but is there an Indian AI too?
Like, do we have an infrastructure in India to?
Yeah, because China, you have to.
Of course,
they did DeepSeek. Even though they have a ban from US has a semiconductor bill, I guess, because they restrict a certain level of chips to go abroad. Despite everything, they created DeepSeek. Our investment as a country, what's our GDP investment in R&D? Very low, right?
Yeah,
less than 1%.
Actually, R&D we have actually gone down.
So all these things can be big on words, but it can't be less on action, right?
Of course, it's very important to follow up on them, to have a strategy with regards to AI, to like have like infrastructure institutions. And of course there's also another problem, that is, and we've already discussed it to some extent, problem of path dependence. Like that's also the reason why you can't shift stuff from like from Silicon Valley to Iceland, for instance, because here a lot of infrastructure is path dependent. I can give you a very basic example. Why, for instance, this is something I've heard in talk while I had a conversation with somebody who works as a carpenter in the US. I mean, online conversation. So I asked him, see, you guys, I see that you guys have a lot of fires happening around, and then your houses get burnt, and why can't you build in concrete? Then he's like, our whole industry, our whole housing industry, all of our construction industry, it's based on wood. So to move away from wood to concrete would require you to have concrete processor, all of that. You need to change the whole
logistics.
And that's because you have locked in. You've taken a path. There are consequences to that path development.
I think we are moving. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think we are moving in because we have this India semiconductor program, and we are trying to attract the Qualcomm and other Foxconn, the AI companies into India. I think this is through semiconductors, through this, we are, as you said, we are building a pathway towards AI, towards Atmanirbharta. But that's a long road.
Yeah, long road, but a very important road.
But before that, one of the concern I have is, see, we are using Google, we are using WhatsApp, we are using Instagram. All of these are American huge companies, right? Why can't we have an alternative for Snapchat or Google or WhatsApp, an Indian alternative?
No, we do have right now.
We have Zoho, I guess.
Yeah, Zoho. It is pretty good. Have you used that?
I have used it, but it's not widespread. People are not using it, right?
It will. I mean,
what's the ratio? Maybe 1%
there is a reason for why it is not used so widespread, is because it is not the first entrant. The first entrant is WhatsApp, so it will take time.
Everything, if it interrelates, then AI transformation will be easier.
Correct.
Because if you see the infrastructure in US, you have Google, everything is connected in the way. They have a common Silicon Valley community there. But here, what we have Infosys, but basically what Infosys do is they get people to do the work for the US big companies, right?
Yeah, we
so
need to.
Basically, here it's the race to the bottom. Somehow we have to take people. So we should focus on quality if we want to reach at ChatGPT level.
Yeah, but the problem again, like the reason why these firms they cater to US clients is fundamentally there's no demand for them here.
Yeah.
So like if there's no demand for them here, there's no market. Their economics does not work.
But I think market is there because India is the largest market, right?
No, it is a large market. But the question is, are your domestic firms, are they willing to pay for the services?
Yeah, that's a
big problem. It's not like you have a market, but your effective market is the people who are willing to pay for it Right.
And I think people they prefer quality or nationalism, if we can say that, because even we love using WhatsApp. We had an Indian alternative, but no one uses that. So I think that in that side the nationalism kind of blurs, because everyone is used to luxury that they don't want to go let away their luxury of Instagram or this thing.
Yeah, but this this Aratai app, right?
Yes.
It is not. It is on par with WhatsApp.
Okay.
It is not too bad.
Are you being promoted by Retire?
No. The thing is that the only disadvantage that I see, like the only thing that hinders me from using it is because first thing, a lot of my WhatsApp contacts are in different part of the world, and the next thing is I don't have a lot of my contacts in this app. So I think that is an issue, and that is an issue that they have to solve. They have to find a solution to how to make people use it. But one thing where Zoho can succeed is with respect to their alternative to Google Workspace.
Yes, that
because companies can adopt it, and companies can adopt it at a cheaper rate. So that is something I think is definitely going to work.
A more reasonable way to like segue away from it.
Yes.
Right?
And I think that will lay down this path, what you have been speaking, to somehow build this infrastructure and go towards the ultimate goal of AI or something. What do you guys feel?
Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah.
So we did talk a little bit about the distribution of power with respect to AI, right? And this brings us to another dialectics, that is between exclusion and inclusion, because that's where we started our conversation with, like the lack of inclusion and the increasing exclusivity. So there is a movie that I watched recently that resonated deeply with what is going on right now. I mean, I've never really, like, I have read a lot of novels and movies, but I've never really seen a movie that kind of instills a sense of fear of what might happen in the future. So that movie is Kalki. So in this
2498 AD.
Yeah. Yes. The Prabhas.
That's only 400 years from now.
That's all. But I think it's. I think if things go things go in the bad way, this can happen in a
very scary
shorter.
movie.
So in this movie, what I observed is that, like, the rich people, they live in a complex.
Yeah.
Right, and the commoners, they are excluded because they are no longer needed. All right. So I have recently read the news about billionaires doom prepping, and they are making self-sustaining shelters. And also there is a growing fascination towards self-sustaining urban megastructures. For instance, we have the Line project by Saudi Arabia.
Neom project, right?
The Neom line project.
Line project.
So this is definitely something we should think about. Like, what do you think?
I mean, yes. The thing is, see, we are in an age of AI. We are in an age of climate change, which is adjacent to AI, and there is possibly the risk of social collapse. So it makes sense for people with resources who are billionaires to like build those self-sustaining ecosystem.
Yeah.
But another approach to the same problem is to like avoid technology, right? There is this craze for like dumb phones or brick phones, as you call them. That's happening
people
now.
Prefer minimalism.
People do prefer minimalism. So that's one response. And the other response is to go to the other end, to transcend humanity, which is what there's this billionaire, I forget his name, who's trying to be eternally young.
Exactly.
So that's also another response. So would you want to add on to that?
This is a crucial juncture which we are seeing, because what if our intelligence is transformed and we become immortals or something like that, because we transfer some idea or our cognitive ability or memory to a machine and you live forever. So I think people are conspiring for that because they have billions. But essentially this brings us to the crucial juncture, as I said, because can we say humans are the most intelligent people right now? No, we can't say, because AI can or replace us. Because we are in that phase. So I was reading this book's Nexus, by the latest book of Yuval Noah Harari, and he was saying what differentiated humans was their knowledge. Knowledge was the ultimate resource that made us to live in a civilization. So AI challenges that. So if it can manipulate and have more knowledge than us, then it will be more intelligent being. So this is a crucial, I don't know. We have to see, I guess.
Yes, time has to tell.
Yeah.
So Yep. So I think it's time to conclude our podcast, and I would conclude it with the dialectics of exclusion versus inclusion and transhumanism versus primitivism.
Yeah, thank you, Mahesh. Thank you for having us. It was really great talking to you.
Yeah, it was great talking to you as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the time here. We've had a very nice conversation about
exactly.
everything under the sun, and that's very important.
Yeah.
Right. So till the next podcast. Goodbye.